At a Chess College Humanities 2. Here we go, tripsing, traipsing, hitchhiking through our journey through the arts of the last 500 years. We've just begun. This is the end of week or beginning week 3 or 2. I've already lost track. You've already done one essay, so we're past week 1. I'm going to sign another essay today. Why does Shakespeare matter? Get ready. Um, keep up on your journals. Look at the sample of the journal. You should make a journal entry for every week we're in school. For this class, should be 17 entries, paragraph each entry, maybe what we read that week in the textbook, um, what we talked about, my lectures, what you saw, documentaries, what you wrote your paper about, and what you thought about the whole thing. Um, like we're doing Shakespeare right now. What do you think about Shakespeare? There's a conversation going on. I hope you're participating in it. I think the deadline is right now, so you want to get in on that one because your participation, your grade, the journal is all wrapped up in the discussion also. Okay, so I'll make this short and sweet. We're looking at Shakespeare this week. He lived approximately 1550, thereabouts. The Renaissance was well on its way. And what changed everything in his day was the printing press. People now had a chance to learn how to read and distribute reading in words like never before. And so his plays, his poetry, his sonnets were being read by ordinary people, not just wealthy people who had the ability to read because they had tutors, so they go to schools. Most people who didn't have that did not know how to read. There there were poverty-stricken people who work in shops, were house cleaners, blacksmiths, bakers, worked at the slaughterhouse, and the kids didn't have any chance of breaking out of that, and they were going to follow their parents' footsteps. So it was a pretty dark and dank, wet world. It rained a lot in England. It doesn't rain as much there as it used to, and and Shakespeare wrote about the universal hu- human condition, not just about what happened in England. Lots of his plays aren't even set in England. The one I hope you guys are looking at, I sent you a documentary yesterday of 9 different actors playing the same scene from Hamlet. Well, Hamlet's set in Denmark. Um, he was writing about other people and places, not just London. Kings and queens, the Roman Empire, Scottish Empire, French. He wrote about them all. For a guy who never traveled, it's pretty incredible. Um, his childhood's a mystery because they didn't keep records like we do now, and they've only pieced it together all these years, and they've got a pretty good story. They pretty good look at what made him tick and his gift for language and storytelling. And we're still listening to his words. We're still hearing his stories 500 years after his death. Think about that. Why is he so relevant in these modern times when we're all on TikTok and Instagram and whatever else social network we're doing? Well, he was the social network of his day. He was spreading the word, and his word was universal poetry, enlightened language, all about the dire human condition. His tragedies, Hamlet, Macbeth, Romeo and Juliet, are still performed all over the world to this day. They're still as relevant because we're all still dealing with the same issues. Humans haven't changed, folks. Technology has. We're still dealing with the same stuff. We want to have meaning in our life. We want to supposedly have love in our life. We want to have our time on earth. We want it to mean something. Well, it's always been like that. In a way, it's easier now because of medical discoveries and medicine, but also it's the way it's harder because of that. More people are dying of drug overdoses than ever before. Social network, which was supposed to be a great thing, is turned into a lot of really tragic consequences. Kids, young kids, have actually taken their own lives because something went wrong in social networking. Someone said they were fat or ugly or not perfect. And so they killed themselves over it. Maybe you know somebody like that. Um, the world is a lot rougher with the social network. We're no longer safe from haters and people want to spread their vicious opinions. Well, Shakespeare spread the best of what we are as humans through his plays, and he wrote a lot of plays, all sorts of different themes. If you looked at this documentary on Hamlet, that I picked the most popular, well-known monologue that he does, "To Be or Not to Be," and all the actors played a little different. Everybody has a different take on it. Some people are sad, some people are angry, some people are questioning, some people know the answer. How would you play it? Anyway, that's the beauty of his language and the plays he wrote, the complexity of our human nature. We're still exploring, we're still discovering, we're still peeling back the onion layers of what made Shakespeare tick to learn about what makes us tick. We're all Hamlet. We're all Macbeth. We are all Romeo and Juliet, all of us. We're Lady Macbeth. We're King Lear. We're his daughters. Because Shakespeare knew how to relate to the human condition, and thus we related to that he presented on the stage in his lifetime. And he was wealthy and popular in his lifetime. Think about that. Theater was a huge deal. There was no TV or Netflix or movie theaters or there's live theater. And a lot of times it was farces and comedies to entertain the common man. Well, he wrote these plays, believe it or not, for the common man. Even though the language is heightened, poetry, they understood it. Because if the actors perform it right, you don't need to understand every utterance of words. Plus, the languages are different. Languages has progressed over the years. We don't use a lot of the same words. If you ever read Shakespeare's plays, get the copy that has Shakespeare, and then look at the interpretation of what some of these words mean now. Because what was slang then, we have no idea what they're talking about. For example, he has a quote in Hamlet about stabbing someone with a budkin. Who know what's a budkin? Nobody knows. It's a knife. You look up why they called it a knife. They did. We have slang right now. Can you imagine understanding LOL and all the stuff we see on Instagram? You have to interpret it. You have to interpret it for the older generation. I know you do that when you text your grandmother with all your LOLs and your shortcuts. It's confusing to her. Well, think about if it was 500 years ago. It's really confusing. Anyway, but it reflects on our culture, and that's what Shakespeare did. He reflected on his own times, and that's what the best art is. They reflect on their own times. They're holding a mirror up to the culture. They're writing the culture, they're painting the culture, they're dancing the culture, they're filming the culture, they're writing music about the culture, and that reflects on the culture. That's why people relate to it. It's why people relate to the music or art. It's of its time. Now, it could transcend its time if it's on the level of Shakespeare or Picasso or Mozart or the Beatles, whether you like them or not. What music now is going to transcend this time? If you say Taylor Swift, I might have to have a fight with you. Um, she's of her time, absolutely. In this world we live in of pop culture, and people are supposed to be perfect. They look perfect, they're the perfect weight, the perfect hair, singing the perfect songs, have the perfect boyfriend. She fits the bill. But I look for flaws in people. My favorite musicians are flawed, big time. Kurt Cobain, Jim Morrison, Jimi Hendrix, because the flaw is the domain of the true artist, is depicting our flaws. Shakespeare did that, folks. So keep up on the research. I'll post the paper probably tomorrow. It'll be due in a week. Um, if you have any questions, I haven't started grading your papers yet. I'm going to do that right now. And before I go out and buy cat food for my cats, because they're both sitting here staring at me. Do you understand what it's like when a cat stares at you and stares at you and stares at you? It's not pleasant. Anyway, hope you guys are doing well. It was last couple of days, it's been like spring. We're going to get wet again. Stay safe, stay on topic, write your papers, impress me. Don't copy and paste off a Wikipedia site. I will spot you. And when you're writing these papers, it's okay to quote the book, the textbook, or some other source. You must have a works cited page. You got to get your information from somewhere. I want to know where you got it. Okay. So make sure you have a citation page when you're talking about why does Shakespeare matter. I'll post it later. Hey, we're only 2 weeks on of the journey, and the journey is just beginning. In this course, we're going to be doing painters, artists, sculptors, dancers, musicians from Mozart to Kurt Cobain to Tupac. We're going to be doing film from the silent movies to X-Men to Barbie. We're going to hit them all. We're going to do literary writers, novelists from Steinbeck to Chekhov to Stephen King. We're going to hit something that interests you, I hope, as we go down 500 years of art. Where are we going next? Stay tuned and find out. Thank you.